Hello everyone, I'm excited to be showing you the desktop portal of the on-site PCA ACA 2016 conference experience. This desktop portal can be used in two different ways. The first would be before the event. So a day or two before the event, you can come into this desktop portal and configure your own on-site experience. So anything you select within this desktop portal will be transferred to the devices that you use on site. So say for instance you use an iPhone, a tablet, or an Android phone. Anything you do configure on the desktop portion will be transferred into that device when you're on site. So very easy to build out schedules, get some information, send some messages before you actually are on the premise. Another way you can use this desktop portal will be on site. So for instance, if you have a laptop with you, you can access this portal at any time and use it as the portal for your on-site experience. The first thing you're going to want to do when you get into this portal is you're going to want to log in. So it'll be actually this purple button up here. Obviously I've already logged in, but if it's your first time to the portal, you'll see a login button. You can enter in your credentials, and these credentials will be used, say for instance, also if you are utilizing another device, such as, for instance, that iPhone or Android or tablet. So after you've logged in, the first thing that I would do on this page is I would go into my profile. So this is where you're going to give information that will be relevant to other attendees who may or may not want to network with you. So you can put as much or as little information in here as you'd like. I would say, the more information you provide, the more interesting you might be to a potential attendee that may or may not want to network with you. So within this profile, you can put in information such as obviously your name, what you do, where you're from, contact information such as a website, email, LinkedIn profile, and then of course a little bio if you so choose. Another thing you can do on here is add a picture. You can enable or disable networking. So say for instance you don't want other attendees to have the ability to reach out to you or schedule meetings with you, you can obviously disable this feature. And then you can select the days that you're attending. So say for instance I'm only attending 3 days of the event, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I can designate this here. That way other attendees know that I will not be available for any meetings on Tuesday, for instance. Once you have your profile done, you can save the changes, and then I would suggest going into the event details widget. Once you click this widget, a few different options will become available to you. The first option that I would perhaps look into will be the welcome message. So the welcome message will be it'll be a link that you can click on, and it will give you the president's welcome to you. Your conference administrators would really like you to read this, so I suggest that you do, and it's available to you by easily clicking that link. Now once you click that link, obviously it'll open a new tab, but you can certainly toggle back into the portal itself. After you read the welcome message, I would suggest going into the schedule widget. So the schedule widget will default automatically by list. It'll show you a list of sessions that are available by time. You can scroll up and down and see the different ones for the different time blocks. You can also toggle between different dates. If you would rather see a list by subject area, you can certainly click the subject area tab and it will categorize the different session by subject area. Perhaps, though, you would rather see the schedule or the list of sessions available in a calendar view. This is my favorite because it allows you to see the different blocks of time very easily. It might show you where two of your desired sessions are at the same time, and then you can obviously easily scroll and see the different sessions once again by subject area on the top. You can scroll down to see the different time blocks available. At the top, I would like to point out again that you can toggle between the different dates of the conference, so you can see different sessions that are available throughout the conference journey. And I apologize for the delay there. My computer runs a little slow sometimes. Now let's say one of these sessions are particularly interesting to me. So I find interest in perhaps 1332 Beer Culture 1. I can click into that session and it'll give me all the relevant information, such as obviously the time, the location or meeting room, the different panels and speakers, and the different papers discussed, collaborated upon, or reviewed, and then any description or notes that your conference administrators have provided. So say this still looks very interesting to me and I would like to add it to my own personal agenda. I can do so very easily by clicking the calendar widget up here. It'll add it to my own personal agenda automatically. And once again, I do want to reiterate that anything added on the desktop portal will be transferred to your device on site, if you choose to use a device, of course. Say for instance, I did get happy fingers and did not mean to click the calendar button. I can simply click it again and it will remove it from my own agenda. In the list view, you can do the very same thing. You can go into, for instance, a session that looks interesting to you, get all of the relevant information, and then add it to your own personal agenda. So from here, I would move on to the Speakers tab if you'd like to get some information about different speakers that are at the event itself. Each speaker profile will show the session as well as the paper that they've been involved in or are discussing during different sessions. You can certainly view it in a global sense by all the different speakers and panelists, or say for instance there's that one speaker or panelist that stands out to you. You remember the individual's last name. You can certainly search by first, last name, or a keyword, and the appropriate profile will pop up. Once again, it'll show any sessions or papers, so on and so forth, that this speaker or panelist is involved in. Within the speaker profile, I can certainly make notes if I choose to do so, or I can add them to my favorites. So, for instance, if I want to remember this speaker for later purposes, such as networking, or if I want to keep them in mind should my schedule open up and I'd like to attend one of their sessions, I can add it to my favorites list and then reference my favorites list later, which I will show you, of course. From the Speakers tab, I would certainly move on to the networking function. So the networking function, you can certainly view a list of all of the attendees at the event that have enabled networking. You can go through the various profiles, you can add them to your favorites, or you can click on a profile and get some more information on them. From here, you can add them to your favorites by clicking the star up here. You can certainly add a note. So for instance, say Eric and I had a good discussion at coffee. I can add a note about our discussion so I can reference that later. If me and Eric have not met yet, but I find his profile particularly interesting, I can send him a message, say, hey, you know, our hobbies are very well aligned. I'd like to have a discussion with you on this, this, this. I can send him a message. And then obviously, if we'd like to meet or I'd like to meet him, I can click this Arrange Meeting tab, and it will open up a dialog box where I can schedule said meeting. This widget is pretty interesting. It's very useful because it'll actually cross-reference our two different schedules. So it'll cross-reference our agendas, and if I click on a particular date, it'll give me the times that both of us have made available. So I can click a time, I can enter a location, the name of this meeting, as well as any message that I'd like to send. In addition to viewing it in a list view, I also want to point out the ability to search via keywords. So you can search for, different profiles based on keywords, such as any information that they put in their profile, or say, for instance, I did have a misconnection at a session. I talked with someone, we had a very great conversation during the session, but I only remember this individual's last name, and it's driving me nuts. Well, I can enter in their last name, and I can search for them, and now I remember. It was Brendan. Brendan and I had a great conversation during a session, and I'd like to continue that conversation. I can certainly, once again, favorite him to view the profile later. I can add notes about the conversation we had at the session. I can send him a message, or I can arrange a meeting between the both of us. So from networking, I would encourage you to look into the Maps tab. So on the Maps tab, we can look at a floor plan of the venue. This will be very helpful both before and after. Before and on site. So before you get on site, it might provide a frame of reference to what the hotel and meeting rooms look like, so you can have a little idea in the back of your mind where your certain sessions are and where you might need to go. On site, it will also provide a very good frame of reference to get from point A to point B. Once again, this informational tab does open a new tab within your browser, but it does not close the portal, so you can easily toggle back into the portal itself. Other informational tabs that are available to you will be the conference informational tab, so it'll give you, for instance, a list of the different conference administrators, the exhibitors and paper tables, their location as well as their hours, and then obviously the registration desk hours. So for instance, perhaps I want to get some more information about the exhibitor hours. I can do so, as well as see where the exhibitors will be located. Again, bringing it back to the point that this will open a new tab, but very easy to get back to the portal itself. Special events, Another informational tab, I can see information about special events, ceremonies, film screenings, get-togethers, and meetings. Again, anytime I click onto a certain informational tab, it'll take me into a document that will give me specific information about the location, time, description, so on and so forth. I do want to point out the awards ceremonies and the awards that are given via the PCA ACA 2016 conference. If you would like, you can click into the different tabs for these awards, and once again, you'll be able to see information about the award itself, perhaps the location, the time of the award ceremony, as well as the recipient. So from here, I do want to go into the My Event tab now. So the My Event tab is once you've done everything, you've configured your on-site experience via adding sessions on the schedule, networking, favoriting different speakers, favoriting different attendees. Now you're ready to actually go into your own personal on-site experience. So from the My Event tab, you'll be able to see my inbox. So for instance, any other attendees that have messaged you or requested meetings, you can see also what meeting requests that you have sent or what messages you have sent. And then of course, most importantly, any push notifications or alerts sent by your conference administrators. In the My Agenda page, you will be able to see your own personal agenda. As stated before, you can certainly toggle between these, quickly remove them if you want to add something else last minute, toggle between the dates, and then most importantly, I would suggest would be the different note widgets on the sessions. So when you're on site, I would suggest taking notes within the different sessions on your device or on your laptop. It's much easier to organize, it's much easier to cross-reference, it's much easier to collect all the information that you have posted within your profile after the event, if you do indeed take notes within each session. Paper, we all lose it, we all get frustrated with it, we oftentimes get rid of it at inopportune times, so any notes that you do put into the various sessions themselves will be saved. They'll be referenceable both during and after the event. So if you want to export them to an email, if you want to export them to your desktop computer at home, you can do so, and any notes you do take will be tied to the specific sessions that you've taken them in. So once again, do encourage you to do that. Digital is the way to go. From here we can go into our favorite speakers. Once again, like I said before, any speakers that you did favorite when we looked at that list will be housed within your favorite speakers section of your event. So once again, you can cross-reference them on site. And of course, if you have any free time, you can see what sessions they're speaking in or which sessions they're a panel in, and add those to your personal agenda. The favorite visitors, again, will be the individuals that you have favorited on the networking tab. So if I favorited someone and I didn't message them yet, I can certainly come back to my favorites list and do my networking on site. And then the notes, right? So this is where I told you all of your notes will appear. So obviously any sessions that you've taken notes in will appear on a list here, and you can go into the different dialog boxes and it'll automatically pull in those notes that you took, obviously. You have the visitors portion here as well. If you did take any notes on, say, a particularly interesting individual that you networked with, once again, you can click into the widget and see, for instance, I met him for coffee and I had an interesting conversation on the colonial era. From here, you can certainly share or export your information. So, say for instance, I want to send my agenda to a colleague. I can email that to myself. I can email that to another individual. Say after the event, I really want to download or export my notes. I can also send those notes to my own email and then put them on my desktop after the event. So that's about it with this desktop portal. Once again, you can use it in two different ways. You can use it prior to the conference, developing your own on-site experience through the desktop portal. Any information that you do select within the desktop portal will be automatically transferred into your device, so your iPhones, your Androids, or your tablets. And then, of course, you could use the second way is that you could use the desktop portal actually on site as your quote-unquote mobile conference experience. So you can use it on a laptop or you can pull it up in a browser. Really excited again that you guys will be experiencing this unique on-site experience through a mobile portal, whether that is desktop or the different devices that you do carry on site. Have fun.